Our focus is on you, the writer, the author, and this is where we offer tips and tricks on goal setting, time management, accountability, along with the occasional author help interview. If you haven't been here before, and even if you have, welcome. My name is Cynthia Carver, and my co-host is the lovely
Aliya DalRae.
We do podcasts on how to write it, how to edit it, how to publish it, and then market it. And that's your book we're talking about because we've already published ours. If you like this type of video or podcast, please give us a thumbs up, poke the subscribe button, and ring my bell. So now let's get to it. Welcome to Tracy's Cafe, where writers meet inspiration.
Yay.
I am Cynthia Carver, and I write paranormal suspense. My Shamanist in Silhouette is my small series. They're like a lot of novellas. And then Small Bit of Justice is the first in the series of Tracy Richards' Psychic Investigator. But I want to talk about Aliya's. She is an award-winning author. You have little things all over your.
I do have bling. I do have some bling.
You got bling.
You're right. I forgot about those little things. I can't even remember them. But yes, my name is Aliya DalRae, and I am a paranormal romance and urban fantasy author. I am the author of the Jessica Sweet trilogy, the Fallen Cross Legion series, and the Fallen Cross Pack series, as well as a handful of short stories. Most of them do take place in my fictional town of Fallen Cross, Ohio. I also have one normal book, as my father would call it, which means that it just has people in it. There's, nothing interesting. No, it's interesting, but there's no magical creatures or anything. But my daddy used to say, every time he'd see me, he'd say, "Have you written anything normal yet?" And I would say, "No, Daddy, I haven't." So when he passed away, I wrote a normal story and I dedicated it to him. But and I do have one under a different pen name, under S.R. Blackmore. I have a children's chapter book that I wrote for my nephew. And there will soon be another that I'm writing for my other two nephews. So that's the Ryan and Rubble. The Adventures of Ryan and Rubble are already out. And then I'm currently working on the Adventures of Matt and Joe. And that will be out by Christmas. So again, those are under the S.R. Blackmore. But if you like the paranormal stuff, that's all Aliya DalRae.
Oh, so this past week, I had worked on a couple of videos for the first time writer. So you decided you wanted to write a book, but you don't know whether or not you actually want to invest in Word. And if you have a Mac, you can't download Word. It is a PC only. Now, that is not to say you cannot use Word on a Mac. You can.
Really?
You have to use it through the web. It has to be, you have to be connected online to use it.
Is that like the 365 or is that something completely different?
I think it's completely different. I just download it. This year, instead of spending the money on Word, I didn't re-up my subscription because I am using my Mac, and it just seemed to be a waste of time, a waste of money, because I can do the exact same thing on Google Docs. I have to be connected to the internet for Google, and it's free. I have to be connected to the internet with Word. It's not free.
Wow.
I thought it was a no-brainer.
Yeah, that I can see how anyone working with a Mac, that would be difficult. I've actually never used a Mac. I've always had a PC. and I do everything on Word. I mean, well, up until this year, I did everything on Word. I have been writing on my phone, so that's all kind of been with Google Docs. I've written one, two and a half, two and a third, maybe novels, and 3 short stories I've written
On your phone?
phone. Yeah. Imagine how much I could have gotten done if I was actually typing my, gazillion words a minute. But yeah, I've written all of that on my phone. Now, then I transfer it over to my Word, to Microsoft Word. But I purchased Word. When I got my computer, I purchased Office Suite instead of doing the annual
Oh.
subscription. So
Mhm.
don't get all the updates like the subscription does, which I do believe that's the 365 is the subscription thing. So I don't get the updates like that, but I also don't have to pay for it. I paid for it once, and it's mine forever as long as I have my computer. So
And that's called Word Suite?
it's Microsoft Office Suite, and it comes with Word, Excel, PowerPoint. I think it's got Outlook in it. I think that's it.
I still probably wouldn't be able to use it on my
No,
Mac.
no, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. It's a Microsoft. Yeah. So you have visitors.
I do.
Did Tracy come up? Is she looking over your shoulder?
We have the cat. We got the cats and the dogs.
Oh,
Okay.
it's a cat cafe.
We're at the cat cafe.
You're at the cat cafe.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never been there.
I haven't
We're
either.
talking about the cat cafe in Dayton, Ohio.
Yes.
And it's a cafe where I think they actually have cats within the
Yeah,
actual cafe.
I do believe that's yeah. And I think people have actually done like book signings and stuff there too, which
Oh, that would be fun.
right?
So that would be very fun.
Yeah. I don't even know where it is.
I also suggested that they try Open Office, which is an open source and it's free, and you do get downloads.
Oh, wow.
So that's the previous videos. So you can check those out if you're a first-time author and you're looking for a cheap way to get started and to find out whether or not you're even going to be able to finish your first book. And I
Right.
say be able to finish because you may get 2 chapters in and go, oh my goodness. No.
So how did you start writing, Cynthia? What inspired you? How old were you? When did what
Oh,
get the bug?
my grandson had just been born. So my girls were still really young. And I had just done a cold case. For those of you that don't know, I am a psychic. I had just done a cold case. It did not turn out the way I wanted it to. Sometimes when you're working with the police department, even though they come to you and ask you for help, they're not really open to the help you give them. So in Small Bit of Justice, I started writing that 20 years ago.
Wow.
And because I didn't know how to write, I kept referring to other people and they would say, oh no, you have to do it this way. Oh no, you have to do it this way. And then I even had one critique. I'll save this story for when we go into critiques. It was really nasty. And I shut down my writing. But when I did start back again, it was through NaNoWriMo and through our friend Michelle. Yeah.
Yes.
She
Yes.
helped me into doing that. And I jumped on board and I thought, okay. And
Is that
I really, Yeah.
Really? Oh,
I
wow.
decided I was gonna move forward with it. And then, of course, you know, I had been honing my skills for the, prior 15, 17 years,
Mm,
but I had started writing that as my first book.
wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Very cool.
Mhm. So, and now that's the first in a series. We've got News from the Holler coming up, and that seems to be more of a paranormal comedy.
It sounds funny.
It's
And it's,
I have yeah, I was watching my sister's dogs one day, and the thing is, there's like 6 of them, and they're all tromping they're all tromping toward the car. Now, I had the doors open in my car. I look in, and you've got this little terrier sitting at the steering wheel. You've got the other one bouncing back and forth, you know. You've got 2 Labrador retrievers that think they're puppies. Well, they really are. They're not even 8 months old yet.
oh my gosh.
So, you got them bouncing. And so you got 6 dogs in the car.
Oh my gosh.
So when we finally get them all out, it's like that's going into the new book. And so in News from the Holler, you have the scene where you have Rascal, which is a Shawogo hound, because he's got so much going on. He's a dash hound. He is a beagle. He it says is it like a blue tick where they're kind of speckled.
Mm-hmm. Like a
I
German.
think it's like a Australian sheepdog, maybe. I don't know.
Oh,
Anyway,
okay. Yeah.
he's a mixture,
Heinz.
and he's a character.
Yeah, Heinz 57.
Yes, she's we call him the Shawugo hound, and they're purebreds, all of them.
Well, I'm sure. I'm sure. Like Labradoodles.
Exactly. No, the labs seem to be actually labs. Of course, if we did the DNA, they could be Great Pyrenees for all we know. So anyway, they're in the car, and so I can see them inside this cop car. You leave the door open, let and so we write the scene that way.
That's
And
cool. Very
yeah,
cool.
so and then we have so Tracy's in the holler, and she's got her couple of kids with her, and then they have this really bad storm, but because Tracy's with her sister, they still think they're 19. And they get on uh the pool floaties, and they start playing with the pool floaties, and I'm not going anymore. I'm giving my good scenes away.
Well, you are. You are. I remember you telling me about this one. Yeah, you want to keep something to yourself.
Yes.
Watch this
So
space.
that's right. Watch it. But if you're a new writer, we're talking about experience. Aliya and I have known each other for a few years now.
Mhm. Yep.
And we've been through a lot, even in the few years. So
Yeah.
just don't let anybody get you down, because let me tell you, they're out there. And I have come to the conclusion that they're just jealous.
Yeah.
They're jealous because you're doing something that they're not.
Yep.
They want to be an author, but they don't want to put in the work.
There are some like that. It's a fact.
Yep.
It's a fact. And there are those that'll cheat, and if they and I don't understand that. I don't understand why people want to bring each other down, because the way I look at, especially as indie authors, the way I look at our community,
Oh yeah.
I want everybody to read my books. That's it. Now, are my books for everyone? No. So that's a little outside the of reality. But you know, we all do. We all want everyone to read and love our books. And whether it happens or not, whether it's possible or not, doesn't matter. But the fact of the matter is, you can only write so many books a year. You know, even if it's all you do, you know, I mean, people, I know people who put out, you know, a dozen books a year or even more, but that's their full-time job. Most of us, we have a day job, or, you know, in my case, 2 day jobs, plus my writing. So I can't be as prolific as others. So there's going to be a gap. You know, you read my latest book, yay, great. You know, I'm thrilled. But then what are you going to do when you're done with my book? Are you just going to sit there and not read? No.
Come and read mine.
That's exactly right. I'm going to tell you, go read Cynthia, or go read Rochelle Bradley, or, you know, go read J.B. Richards. There's thousands of us, you know, and there's no reason for anybody to be cutting anybody down. We should all be pushing, you know, our readers, you know, to the next author. You know, why are you waiting for me? Go read this. You know, I don't want you to only read my books. That's just, you know, it's selfish and it's just weird. I mean,
It is. It's very weird.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy, actually.
But stalk me on, you know,
yes,
the links are below.
But not in a creepy way.
Exactly. No
Just
more
make me
creepy
feel
ways.
special. Don't be a creepo.
Well,
no, I want to support everybody. I want everyone to succeed. I want all of you to succeed. You know, it's like Cynthia's saying, you know, if you feel this book inside you and you just know it's got to come out, write it down. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's awful, because every single first draft that I have written has been awful. It's not going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect the first time down. So write it. Tell yourself the story. And that's what the first draft is all about, is just telling yourself the story. You can clean it up later. You can make it pretty and everything, but just get those words out, and you'll feel the excitement in it. You'll feel the joy in it of telling that story and of finding out what happens next. Because the only thing better than reading a book and turning that page and finding out what happens next is imagining it and living it and being that story. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it in the world. And if you've got that in you, I mean, don't let anybody stop you from getting it out. You don't even have to tell anybody. I didn't tell my first book until Soul. I wrote it. I sat down. It was actually a bit of therapy for me. I was, you know, trying to get through something. And so I wrote it on my lunch hour through the course. It took me about a month. I mean, I wrote 110,000 words in a month. And
wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. It's just, I was possessed, you know, demons running. Just had to get them out.
Jessica Sweet, that's who possessed you.
It was Jessica. It was my sweet Jessica. It was Jessica Sweet. She was in Raven because, you know, it was Raven. All right. After I wrote it, I put it in a cyber drawer I wrote it in 2009 and I published it in 2016, if that tells you anything.
Yeah.
I sent it to my cousin, who I will admit right now is my biggest fan, or one of them. And her words were, she was about halfway through it and she said it was worth showing to someone. And she never spoke of it again. And I was like, okay, it sucks. You know, it's terrible. And it went back in the drawer. And then at my old job, I met a lady, and she's like, you know, she was all about Twilight. She loved Twilight. I really like vampires. Maybe you would like to read, you know. And she said, oh yeah, send it to me. So I sent it to her. Never heard another word from her. I'm like, it super sucks. So I am not, you know, it's just going to stay in that drawer, right? And then another girl I worked with self-published kind of a self-help book. And I've ordered a copy from her. I wanted a paperback. I wanted a signed copy, and she sent it to me. And her inscription to me said, Here's to me sitting in front of the fireplace reading your book next. She didn't know I'd written a book. She had no idea. So I called her and I said, what are you, she says, well, I was just, thinking optimistically. I said, but I do have a manuscript. She said, you do? And I'm like, yeah. And she said, well, send it to me. And I'm like, okay. So for the third time, I sent my book baby out. And every day I get emails from her. Oh my God, I can't believe that happened. Oh my God, I can't believe. Oh my God, did this really? Oh my God, what's it? I'm like, no, she's not. She's just making, So I reached back out to the second lady and I said, remember that book I sent you? And she's like, oh, I forgot all about it. I never did read it. And I was too afraid to ask. I just assumed it was awful because she never said anything. And she had just gotten busy and forgotten that she had it. So then she reads it. And I get the same reaction from her as I got from the other lady. And they're like, you have to publish. I'm like, I don't know how. And they're like, and of course, the first lady was like, well, I do. So this is what you trying to figure out how to get I mean, keep in mind, folks, all I did was write out my feelings. All I did was try to get this story out. And all of a sudden people are saying, you got to do this, you got to do that. So I'm like, I'm trying to edit it and I'm trying to find cover designers because who knows how to find a cover designer? It's not me, and I've got like 12 friends on Facebook because, Facebook's about games, right? I mean, that's all we really need it for. At least that's what I in 2015. So, I'm like, I finally get it all together. I finally find a cover that I like. I finally, but it took a lot of reaching out. The one lady connected me with another lady, an author lady, and she's like, well, do you have a platform? I don't even know what a platform is. I said, can you explain to me what a platform is? And she's like, a fan base. I said, I haven't even published the book yet. How can I have a fan base? So, but it was just the point being, and to make a long story even longer, the point is, I was not planning on self-publishing. I had never dreamed that that would be something that I would do. And yet here I am 21 books later. And, and I've got 4 in the hopper. So that just need edited or finished and everything. So you can do it. The bottom line is you can do it. Just all you got to do is start. Sorry, today. I got long-winded there. I apologize.
I know, but I got excited for you because this is what this channel is all about. We have been there, we have done that, and we can help you do yours. This, we've already written our books. We're writing more.
Yep.
And if you're new to the channel or new to writing, pen to paper, we're here to help you.
Absolutely.
So the channel is about goals, about accomplishments, accountability. So what are you going to be held accountable for this week?
Who, me?
Yes, you.
You like the way I just ducked out and disappeared there. Okay. This week, I am editing Fallen Sun. It's book 6 in the Fallen Cross Legion series. I am halfway through my first read through. I would like to finish that read through. And I am also going through my second children's book to find which chapters I would like to have illustrations made for. And I'd like to get some more words down in book 7 of the Fallen Cross Legion series. So that's me.
All right.
So I think that is ambitious enough. How about you?
Let's see. I'm gonna put my glasses on to read. Let's see. I want to finish editing book 3.
Mm-hmm.
I got half of it done last week.
Nice.
I want to upload it to Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
I want to order author copies, and I hope to have them in time for September 17th, which is my book signing event at Books, Books, Books. It is at the Groft Event Center on West Orange Street in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And you're invited. So that's our goals. That's what we'll be held accountable for. And then Friday night, if you'll catch us on Aliya's channel, we'll be after hours at Buzz's Tavern, and we'll go through what we actually accomplished. So leave your questions and your goals and anything else that you might have questions about writing. We'll answer. So please click the subscribe button, comment, share the video, and like us. And we'll see you next week. Stay creative and keep writing.